in this whole arranging process of considering the dance as a whole, meaning you're going to be doing 12 to 15 times around the dance, so you'd want to be like moving forward, you want to be building in intensity throughout the whole 12 to 15 times. So by doing what we call pedals, that can actually be quite effective. Now, it's not really easy for me to show that with only myself. I'd have to have my guitarist here to illustrate it. But what it basically is that there would be a melody that is played very simply, and meanwhile the accompaniment would be playing tension under it, meaning tension is usually caused by an accompaniment that doesn't quite fit the melody. In a case like the jig that I was just playing a moment ago, that one, there are certain chords that the guitar player would typically do along with that melody, which would be like A, D, A, so A, D, A, E. That would be the normal thing that you'd expect. Okay, but sometimes if the guitarist chooses, and you can work this out in the arrangement ahead of time, chooses to play something that doesn't quite fit, it can be actually really powerful, because then when you go back to the normal type of chords, it feels like, oh, thank you, oh, the tension is over. So if he were to play something, he, she, were to play something instead of on the A model, they were to do a pedal on E. And pedal simply comes out of classical music, where in the old days of like Bach and the organ, the great organ tradition, they have the pedals in their feet. And so they would press on a, let's say, a low note, like a low E, raw, and hold that down while all the rest of the melodic material was being played in the hands. And it creates a tension because the low note there doesn't quite fit the other material. So we can do that same thing in the fiddle world with the guitar pedaling. And since I can't play the low E's, I'll just play the high E's. So bearing in mind, this would normally be, that would be the A chord normal, but the pedal would be like on E. And then finally going back home, like that. So meanwhile, while the guitar player is doing all that E stuff that I was just doing, the melody would be just continuing on as normal. And so it's like, oh wow, what's going on? This doesn't quite fit, it doesn't quite fit. And so then the tension is being built through the whole 32 bar form of the dance. And then when the dance starts again, one goes back to normal in a very exuberant way, and it feels like, oh, thank you, there's this release of tension, and it can be very exciting. So if the guitar player is playing pedals, pedal points, in the case of E here, I can actually change my melody to sound more in accordance with that pedal tension. So instead of going and so forth, I could be making advances on that pedal by going like this. So there we have that E coming, ringing through the melody that is consistent with the pedal going on in guitar. And then I'll maybe take it a step further by starting to improvise on the melody. So after one time through with a little pedal suggestion, I'd be on the B2 part of the tune, so we're getting near the end of the form, and so the last 8 bars I would start to improvise. continue on that model. So it gets really, really kind of like cacophonous and really tense. But then, when we get back to the melody, it's like, oh yeah, wow, that's beautiful. It's just that it's what we really wanted to happen. It gets back to normal. So that is one example of using pedals for tension.